The everything code, by the way, is something that is coined by Roel Pal from Real Vision. He now has his own channel, Roel Pal, the Journeyman, where he receives guests and does analysis. And it's a little bit of a spin-off of Real Vision. But he dives into the everything code, and the everything code is something that was already there, like for like ages. If you can remember, there's this graph, I'll put it in the description probably, where you have like all these pointy cliffs and all these years starting from 1900 all the way to 2030 something on where
It's
to
always been
sell.
there.
Say again?
It has always been there, kind of,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. And when markets will crash and when is a good time to sell, etc. Right? Those cycles have always been there, right? The 4-year, 8-year-ish. What made that thing even stronger is the Bitcoin halving, right? Which luckily for us coincides with elections as well as with market liquidity, rate cuts, and all that jazz, which is all connected. I'm not even going to attempt to dive in. I think Roel Pal does that a lot better than us. That being said, even though the world appears to be on fire like it never has before, all those things will probably still happen, and we will most definitely probably get our bull market. Why? Because the world cannot go without it, and eventually the system will break, right? I mean, there's not enough duct tape and zip ties to fix what we have been breaking for the last 70 years, right? Since the 60s. Yeah. But that being said, right, bull markets coming and things will change if you're invested enough and educated enough and composed enough. There's a good chance
you're composure,
you're gonna come out of this really, really well, right? And obviously there's always circumstances, and there's always, oh, boo-hoo, you have chance for WW3 and so on. I'm afraid to say the entire word because I made a short a while back and I said the WW3 thing outright, and I instantly got demonetized and needed to appeal and blah blah blah, because then the show or the short was about war, and that cannot be monetized. Same as with weapons and other stuff. It's pretty interesting how that goes. But yeah, and what is interesting is we are the royal we, at least Tim and I, and you probably are too, are busy trying to get settled for life, right? So that we can do whatever the hell we want when we want, and that we're not obligated to be stuck in traffic 3 hours a day. So we can be
I didn't really mind though, but
so we can be at a desk for 8 hours behind somebody else's computer, so we can make money for them as well as for the tax man, right? Because I don't know where you live, but in the Netherlands you pay like an average of 45% taxes on your salary and your income, and then you pay like 21% taxes on everything you buy, unless it's food or other necessities like that. Then you only pay 9%, which and then you got the inflation going on and so on. So for like every hour you work, you get paid roughly 10 to 20 minutes. So if you do that for 8 hours a day and you drive traffic for 3 hours, you're technically losing, to be honest, because in those 3 hours you're not making money.
And it's not about the thing that I don't enjoy working. That's not the thing. It's more about just being able to not having to do that, right? Having the luxury of not having to go through everything. That's the main point.
I also don't hate working, but I do hate working on things that I don't give a crap about. And I hate working for people that don't give a crap about me, which is the case in like almost every case. But anyway, that's not where we're going. What is interesting is that both Tim and I set out on a journey somewhere in 2020 to become financially free, make our own decisions, and not be bound by the laws of normal men, right? Get up at 8, rush to work, come back at 6 exhausted, um, eat, sleep, rinse and repeat until you're 68, and your body is entirely destroyed and you cannot enjoy the wealth that you potentially have gathered after anything is maybe left from Texas. But what we spoke about is, why are we alone in this, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the feeling I have sometimes. It really feels like, um, wait, I need to make a timestamp. But
yeah,
sometimes it feels really kind of a lonely experience in the sense that, um, how do I say? Like, it's not that the people we talk with are stupid or anything. It's just that they don't see the same thing as I see in this. Maybe they aren't financially capable of doing it, but they're also not willing to do that. So, like
what what
investing,
what what is that? Yeah, okay, you're gonna explain now. Sorry, go ahead.
no, as since I think investing, especially here in the Netherlands, is kind of not a very common thing to do. I think we
Twenty-four
talked about
percent.
it 24%. Okay, yeah, we
Twenty-four
talked about
percent
it
of
in the
adults in the
last,
Netherlands are invested.
yeah, we talked about it in the last Dutch episode, and
Yeah,
then because we kind of touched upon it, and we've
yeah,
actually gone in depth on this subject somewhere last year or this year. I don't even remember.
yeah. It's not
We're
within
just
our
not
culture,
really.
right? It's not within our
No, but
culture. We're not.
yeah, here it's not really a cultural thing. And sure, there are certain even colleagues of mine who invest, and some people around me, but it's all kind of niche, and you don't really talk about it. And neither do I, honestly, because I know people aren't really interested in, if things go wrong, they'll start mocking me. It's for fun, though. Like it's more, it's mostly banter. But for it, sometimes a kind of serious undertone. And it feels kind of lonely, like watching this everything go out of roll and watching those videos and actually spending your time trying to understand what's going on. And the rest of the world just doesn't really seem to care.